So before watching this video, I would request you to please watch my previous video about percentile, because it is a prerequisite for this video, right? If you don't understand the percentile, you directly jump to it, then you won't be able to understand it, right? So first check out that video about the percentile, then come back here. So what is the 5 number summary here? So there are totally 5 numbers: minimum, first quartile, median, second quartile, and maximum. So these are the 5 numbers, I must say, are used to identify the outliers, right? I explained the outliers in detail, and outliers are those numbers which are extremely out of range of your normal distribution, right? Here you can see that we have this data set in which there are the numbers that are from 1 till 9, right? And can you identify what is an outlier here? I hope you identified it. It is 36, right? Because you can see that 36 is a number which is like maybe out of range of your normal distribution, because you can see that these numbers are in between till 1 till 10, right? And this is a number that is quite large as compared to your this distribution, right? So this is an outlier. Now, how are we gonna remove this outlier? How are we gonna remove this? So first of all, we need to just set the lower fence and higher fence, right? Now, what is the lower fence and what is the higher fence? Lower fence is basically all values below the lower fence, or you can say this is the lower limit, right? So lower fence is, you can say in simple terms, is a lower limit that all values below the lower fence are outliers, and all values above the higher fence or the upper fence are outliers, right? So we set a limit, or we set a range that below that range we have the numbers that are outliers, and the values that exceeding that range, which are above the upper fence, are the outliers, right? So we have this simple formula about the lower fence and the upper fence, but first we have to calculate this. You can see for the lower fence, this is the Q1, that means first quartile minus 1.5 IQR, and the upper fence is third quartile plus 1.5 IQR, right? Now, what is the IQR? IQR is interquartile range, right? So we have to just minus or subtract this 75% of data from the 25, right? So we need to just subtract this Q3 and Q1, and then we'll just get the interquartile range, right? So let's just calculate it according to this, as we know that 36 is our outlier, so we have to just remove that. Now for this, first you need to calculate what is Q3 and what is the Q1. Now, if you remember, if you watch that video of my percentile, right? So these are basically a percentile ranges, right? The Q3 means third quartiles means 75 percentile, and Q1 means 25 percentile. So you need to calculate the value that is present at the 75 percentile and 25 percentile. How are you gonna calculate this? It's a simple math. It's a simple formula that I discussed previously. First we'll calculate Q3, right? Q3, which means that it is a 75%. So we're gonna 75 divided by, you can say 100, divided by 100, and multiply by n plus 1. That was around, what are the total number of observation here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we have the 14 total number of observation and plus 1. So that would become 15. So what will be our answer here? Let's just calculate this: 75 divided by 100. So, and multiply by 15. So we got 11.25. Now, this is the 11.25. Now this 11.25 is an index, right? It is an index. It is not the actual value. Remember, when you calculate the percentile and when you get the value from the percentile, then it is not the exact value. It is the index, right? It is an index. So it is the 11.25. So what is this? Where this value lie? Let me check. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is the 11 and this is the 12. So 11.25 would be lying between these two values, right? So what are we going to do? We have to calculate their average, right? So 8 plus 8 divided by 2, it is eventually equals to 8, right? So our Q3, what will be our Q3? Our Q3 will be equals to 8. Right, so we have first calculated the Q3. Now we have to calculate Q1. We will calculate in a similar fashion. That is 25%, as Q1 is a 25%, divided by 100 and multiply by, this is 14 plus 1, 15, right? So we have 25 divided by 100. This is the 3.75. 3.75, right? So this is the index value, and we have to just find out what is the exact value. 3.75. Oh, 1, 2, 3. So this is the 3 and 4. So 3.75 would lie between 2. We have to take the average of these two numbers. So the average of 2 and 2 will eventually be 2. So the Q1 we have is equals to 2. That is exact 2. And this is 3, right? Now, what do we have till now? What we have calculated? We have calculated Q1, we have calculated Q2, and yeah, we have to calculate the lower fence and the upper fence. How are we going to calculate it? Q1 minus 1.5 IQR. First, we have to calculate the IQR. So, IQR. So our IQR is 6, right? Our IQR is 6. So what do we have to calculate now? Lower fence and the upper fence. How are we going to calculate this? First, we have to calculate this lower fence, which is about Q1. This is Q1. So 2 minus 1.5 multiply by 6. What is 6? 6 is the IQR. So according to the BODMAS rule, first we just calculate this 1.5 multiply by 6. That is 9. And we have to subtract it with 2. So it will gonna be minus 7, right? So our lower fence is minus 7. So this is our lower limit. And what is the upper fence? Well, what is Q3? Q3 we had is 8. 8 plus 1.5 multiply by 6. So 1.5 multiplied by 6, we had 9, and 9 plus 8, we have this 17. So 17. Now, we got this lower fence and the upper fence. What does that mean? It means that all the values below minus 5 are outliers, and all the values above the 17 are outliers. Now, in our data set, if you observe here that the lower limit we have, the lower value is 1. So that's not a problem. But here you can say that 36 is exceeding our upper fence, that is the 17. So this is the outlier. So we will just remove this, right? We will just remove this 36 from the data set. And eventually our new data set will be exceeding this 36, right? This would be our data set here, right? Now, from the 5 number summary, we have till here calculated, what we have calculated till now? We have calculated what? Q1, which is 2, right? Q3, which is 8. And what is the median? Median is the most middle observation here. So we have here is total 13 observation after removing the outlier. So what will be our median? So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 values here, 6 values here. So this will be our median. So we have our median here is, that is 4. And what are the maximum and the minimum values? So the max value we have is 9, and minimum value we have is 1. Now we got the 5 numbers, right? Congratulations, we have the 5 numbers. Now what we're gonna do with 5 numbers, right? If we have calculated these 5 numbers, what we're gonna do? So we have to make a plot that is known as a box plot, right? It is a most common type of plot while identifying and removing the outliers. It is a box plot, right? Now, how you're gonna plot this? This is your x-axis, right? And let me just place some values here. Let's say I have this minus 2. You can say this is 0. Yeah, this is 2, and this is 4. This is 6, and this is 8. You can say, if I just exceed this, till here. Then we have here is 10, right? So how are we gonna plot this box plot? I apologize, I've just written here in so let me just write everything in an order. First, you have to place the minimum value. Then you have Q1, that is the quartile 1. Then you got the median. Then you should consider Q3. And in the end, you should consider the max value. So this is the main order that you have to keep in mind. First, you have the minimum value, then the Q1, then the median, then the Q3, then is the maximum value. This is the same order that I had written in initially. That is the minimum, Q1, median, Q2, sorry, Q3, and maximum. This is, let me just, so this is the Q3, right? So let me just plot this. How are we going to plot this? Minimum value is 1, right? So 1 lies here. So this is the 1. Let me just place a line here. So this is 1. Now Q1 lies at 2. So I guess this is 2 a once a minute. Let me just put it here 1. Okay, so Q1 lie here, that is 2. Here you can see this is 2. Median lies at 4. So median lies at 4. Let me just place this at 4. Okay, so Q3 lies at 8. All right, no problem. This is 8. And maximum we have is, you can say, 9, right? So 9 will be here. Let me just place this, right? Now I have just calculated, just connect these things. Right? So now you can see this is your box plot. All right. This is your box plot. This is your final box plot. You can see this is the box you can see in front of you. And these are the values that is lying here, right? So this is the minimum range here. This is the maximum range here. And you can say this is the Q1. This is the median of your data. Here is your Q3. And then this is the maximum. So what if we had an outlier that was the 36 present here? So 36 would be present here. So our data would have gone till here, right? So it was an outlier, right? It was an outlier. So we have just finally removed that outlier. So after removing the outliers, we have this kind of thing. So if someone asks, or if in an interview someone asks you that how you can plot the box plot here, what are the main components? So you can say that the first one you can see is a minimum, right? So this one is a minimum. This one right here, this one is a Q1. You can say this is the Q1. This one right here is the median. This one right here is the Q3. And this one right here is the maximum, right? This one right here is the maximum value. So you need to calculate these 5 numbers, and then you have to just plot this box plot right here, right? So I hope you understand the whole story behind this identifying and removing the outliers from your data. Remember, when you are performing all of these calculations, you have to arrange your data set in either in ascending or in a descending order, but your data should be sorted, right? So if you have any question, then you can definitely ask. I hope you understand this session.